Fantastic. Your headliner coming to the stage. You've seen her on Showtime, heard her on KFI. Show some love for Monique Marvez.
Which is exciting, and there's a lot of ladies in here. If you're a lady, make some noise. He told me that there was an event, and that makes me so happy for a multitude of reasons. Because when you're a young woman, young women aren't nice to each other. They're just not. They look at each other like they just ate a bad shrimp. They're like, they're judgmental, they're mean, they're competitive. When you get to be a certain age, when you just chill, when you're comfortable in your own skin, you realize there's not a man in the world that can't be replaced by a winning lotto ticket and a water pick. It's so funny, you're smiling, but you're like, what's the water pick for? What's your name, sir? Clavin? Clemens. That's a good name. Clemens. I don't know if you believe this, but women are actually hornier than men. Do you believe that? So calm down, ma'am. This lady's like, I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Did you know that, Clemens? No, well, we are. I know you don't believe that, and I'm looking right at you. You look like you touch yourself like a death row inmate. No, you do. No, you can see he's got that devious smile. He's got the look, Clemens. But no, seriously, women are hornier than men. We're just horny differently. Like, men are horny all the time. Like, you have an egg timer down there going like it's going to ring. Women are horny in waves, Clemens. You got to learn to surf a chick. You know what I mean? You can tell. This lady, I love the look on your face. You're like, that's so true. Nothing I say is jokes, ma'am, just so you know. I tell the truth and wrap it in bacon so people will eat it. I just want people to be happy. I just tell the truth because I want people to be happy, and the truth really does set you free. I tell people if you operate under the premise that women are crazy and complicated and men are simple and delusional, your life gets instantly wonderful. And, I wish these were jokes. You're looking at me like, well, that's not very positive. I'm not crazy. Yeah, you are. You're just in denial. What's your name, pretty girl? Ana. Very nice to meet you. Are you Latina, Ana? Me too. I'm from Miami, the capital of Cuba. And here's the thing, Ana. When I tell people I'm Latina on the West Coast, it's a whole different experience. They're like, you don't look Latina, and I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? I'm tall, I'm fair-skinned, my car insurance is paid in full. What are you talking about? What's the issue, Ana, But it's because people don't realize that all nationalities and cultures have variety. English people aren't the same as Flemish people, or I don't even know what Flemish people are, to be honest with you. I just know they're like over there by France or something like that. But you know what I mean? Like, they're different. Western European countries are very diverse and very different. They're not the same. Latinos, for instance, my grandfather was Cuban, very, very prideful. Cuban. My grandmother was Puerto Rican. Different, completely different. You would think, oh, they're the same. They're Caribbean islands. No. They used to fight constantly over who had the better island, like it mattered. And they would pick on each other. My grandfather would ask my grandmother, Pura Nieves, that was her name, pure snow. She had zero sense of humor. Names are important. If you name a little girl Pura Nieves, and she's Catholic and Hispanic in the 20s, no fun, right? As opposed to like a Tammy in the 80s, total slut. You know what I mean? Like, names are important. All Ambers are going to spin around a pole eventually. Names are important. Names are important. I love that my name is Monique. I do. I'm a character in a book. It's a fancy name. It's not like a hooker name. It's like a call girl that takes credit cards. You know what I mean? It's a fancy name, Anna. I love my name, Monique Marvez. No middle name. I love my name, Anna. So yeah, my grandfather, Carlos, would ask my grandmother, Pura, he'd say, Pura, why aren't there any Puerto Ricans on the Starship Enterprise? And she would say, yo no sé, Carlos, ¿por qué? And he'd say, because you don't intend to work in the future either. You see how that? You see? Yeah. Controversy. You like that one. I'm glad. Yeah, no. So it's interesting culturally how different people are, even if you're from a similar place or a kind of similar place, people can be very different. And I have to tell you, I think the worst prejudice in the world is ageism. You get to be a certain age, and people just start making Let me just tell you, clap if you're under 30. Clap if you're under 30. All right, what's your name, pretty girl? Look, you guys are like, yeah, good for you. Good for you. What's your name, pretty girl? Lacey. Of course it is. Of course it is, Lacey. Did you catch that, Anna? Lacey. Okay. Okay, so you're under 30, Lacey. I'm going to tell you right now, here's a little trick God's going to play on you, Lacey. You're never going to think you're old. Old is always 20 years older than however old you are. Like, old people watch the Today Show to see that special feel-good story about the 105-year-old person in Alabama. I'm serious. Like your parents think they're cool, Lacey. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're young and your parents say, call us, let us know where you are. Let us know when you're getting home. It's not because they give a rat's ass if you're in a car wreck. They don't care. It's because they don't do it that often. And they want to know when you're going to come home because they're naked in the jacuzzi. They don't want you. Viagra's expensive, you know what I mean? Once your dad takes the pill, he wants to know. Yeah, it's not a pretty thing for you to think, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm looking at the two of you. You probably get your son's old Hot Wheels tracks and spank each other, you know what I mean? I'm telling you, it's not what you think, you know what I mean? It's a wonderful thing. I love being older. I wouldn't want to be 25 or 35. There's like 3 disadvantages to being older for me. 3. That's it. 3. Number 1, you're counting them. Number 1, ma'am, I'll tell you one of the disadvantages. I can't wear vintage clothing anymore. I love vintage clothes. I'm a thrifter, vintage shopper, always was. When you wear vintage clothes and you're a certain age, people think you're the original owner. That pisses me off. They're like, that old bitch dry cleaned her clothes. You know what I mean? Like, that makes me mad, Anna. I don't like that. I got this dress at Forever 21 because they don't have Forever 38. So I bought this dress new. So that's number 1. Yes, you're counting. The number 2 thing about being older is that you miss things. You actually do miss things. There's things in the past that you miss. Anna, you will miss things. Like, for instance, you don't have the problem, because I'm looking at you, sir. You've got facial hair, baseball cap, slight pot belly, jeans. No, I like it. You're a man. What's your name, sir? JJ, of course it is. It's a perfect name for a man. JJ, I miss men like you in man pants. You know what I mean? Like jeans with a fly and a button. You know, I live in the middle of Hollywood. Right? They wear skinny jeans. Like, what is that? A grown-ass man in jeggings? You're not supposed to be wearing jeggings. Blue leggings with your little moose knuckle hanging out. I don't want to see that. That's not man pants. You're not supposed to have stretch in your pants. You're a man. You're supposed to have pants like you, sir. Like something out of, like, Laverne and Shirley pants. You know what I mean? Like, pants! Pants with pockets and your wallet bulging in the back. You know what I mean? Like a man. You're not supposed to have stretch. Women have children. Women have the stretch marks. They get the stretch pants. I don't want you in stretch pants. If you're a grown-ass man, wear man pants. Like, I know it's a different world now, JJ. I know not everybody's like you, like a man. You know what I mean? I know men do yoga. I get it. But I don't want to see that shit, okay? I want to see you in my yoga pants. If you have anything on your body named Lululemon, it better be a French hooker. I don't want to see... If you're a man wearing Lululemon, I don't want to see you at 11:30 in yoga pants at Whole Foods deciding what to get out of the salad bar. That's not manly. Like, there's a double standard. I agree, there's a double standard. Women have lived by a double standard. That cuts both ways. Let me tell you something right now, man. I am a vegetarian. I don't trust men vegetarians. I don't like it. You're supposed to eat meat. You're supposed to eat meat and potatoes and starch. You're not supposed to count calories or care about being healthy. I don't want you to have fussy table manners and order stuff on the side. I don't want that. I want you to eat like you're on Naked and Afraid. I don't want you to be fussy. I don't like fussy. It's not manly. And I don't want you to be perfect. I don't want you to be perfect. I don't have six-pack abs. I don't know when the war on hair started either. I like the hair, JJ. It's working. The hairy arms. You're not clipped up. You're not waxed. You're a man. I think it started with lasers. You know what I mean? When they did away with they got lasers going, right? And then they're like, what does everybody have? Hair. Let's convince them that hair is bad. And then we can use these lasers and charge them. And now everybody's all lasered up. Everybody's lasering everything, right? The dudes are all shiny. I don't want that. I want you to be a man. I don't want you to have manscaping. You know what I mean? Like, take some scissors once in a while. But I don't want it fancy. That takes up too much time. That's narcissism. When a man drops trouser, it should look like a buzzard hanging out of his nest on a cliff wall. I don't want you all perfect. I want you all six-pack abs, hairless, shiny. If you spend that much time working out and waxing and oiling and cleaning yourself up, you don't have time to fix my car. I want a man. I want a real man. I want a man with tools, like with tools. Remember when men had tool chests on wheels and they had ratchet sets? I want a man. I don't want you. Look, she's like, you're getting moist as a bundt cake over there. Look at you. I said tools and a ratchet set. She was like, yeah, ooh, yeah. I saw your face. You were excited. What's your name? Leslie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's sexy, right? When a man fixes something. Yes, and they get sweaty. I like that sweaty. That's not dirty, stinky. I mean fresh sweat because they did something. You know, that's not even sweat. That's man gravy. You know what I mean? That's good. That's delicious. I love that. I miss men. Like, I'm looking right at you. You have like a little orange IKEA thing. No, you need tools. What's your name, sir? Huh? Eddie. That's a good name. It's a good start, Eddie. It's a man name. Good. Because I think that's when things went south, when parents in the 80s decided to give their sons sensitive names, like Shane, Tracy, Stacy, Aaron. If I can't tell what you are by your name, that's scary to me. I want to know. I tell you, I live in Hollywood, Leslie. I live in Hollywood. There are 5 people that get in the elevator with me regularly and say hello to me. I don't know what sex they are. I don't care. But I look at them and I try to do math. They're like, okay, tutu, football helmet, cowboy boots. I'm going with boy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care, but I'm just saying for me personally, I'm a woman, I want a man. You know, I want you to have a big neck, like sexy, like a man, you know? Not all wheedly in your little skinny jeans, drinking Jamba Juice, swiping left and right. I don't know where to meet a man. I don't do online dating. I've never in my life even thought about the whole concept. It's just bizarre to me. And if you're a woman, a girl, you're on Tinder. Tinder is not a dating app. It is a hookup site. If you're on Tinder, you're just. I'm serious. I worry about the young women. Leslie, where did you meet this fellow? I mean, you're Leslie. I'm sorry, Lacey. Facebook. That's good. That's legit. You could look at his profile. You looked at his profile. You liked what you saw. There wasn't anything on there that was weird to you. Okay, cool. What's your name, sir? Chris. You look nice. You look normal. You know what I mean? You have dimples. You look sweet. You're manly. How long have you been hanging out? 2 years. That's legit. So, like, when you sent him how did it work? Like, did you like some of his pictures?
No, we just we liked the same memes and stuff.
You like the same memes. So you bonded over emojis and pictures. That runs deep, Lacey. It's better than Tinder. And you're here. You're in a comedy club on a Wednesday. You're wearing the good bra with the wire. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're taking the time to look nice for your man. That's old school. I respect. I didn't mean to look at you like you didn't make an effort. You know what I mean? You're more low maintenance. She's not wearing a lot of makeup. She's a little less fussy. I like women like you, too. There's all kinds of girls in my chick posse. I like them like you. You get up, you get out of bed, stretch, scratch under your tits, hit the bricks. You know what I mean? Like, that's good. If I want to go to breakfast, I'm calling you. You know what I mean? Because we'll be at Denny's in 32 minutes. You know, I call Lacey. It could be a while. You know, I celebrate women. I started that at the beginning of my set, saying that when you get to be an older gal, you're not competitive with other women. You support, you love, you understand that men come and go sometimes. It's unfortunate, but it happens. You know, I wanted to be married and have a family and have children. I did. I tried really hard. I've been married 3 times. I'm not proud of that. But I'm not ashamed either. That's the funny part, Leslie. I'm not ashamed. When I was younger, I was a little bit embarrassed. But now it's like, yeah. I mean, I don't have any kids. It's like going steady with paperwork. Who cares? You know what I mean? If I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know. But I'll explain. I don't count my first husband because I'm Hispanic and Catholic. And that's how I was raised. It was a different world. It was a different world. I did it to make my mother happy. Because you couldn't just be out there fooling around. You know what I mean? Like you have to, for those, what's your name, pretty girl? Chris. Okay, so here's the deal, Chris. Because you look very non-judgmental, and I appreciate that, you know? I'm gonna explain it to you. You have to think of my vagina as a library book. And my mother was the lonely librarian with only one book to watch. So yeah, I've been married 3 times, but at least for most of my adult life, you know who had my book, when they checked it out, how long they had it, when they brought it back, what condition it was in. I'm not gonna bullshit you, Chris, and tell you nobody read it in the aisle, but you know what I mean? It was... Mostly, my book has been accounted for. You know, it's a generational thing. I'm a little envious. I'm a little jelly of you, Lacey, because have you ever been married? No. Yeah, you're 30. You've never been married. That's brilliant, and you can get married whenever you want. It's a different world now. Nobody expects you to be a virgin. You know, no offense, sir, but the thing is, like, it was a different world back in the day. You broke it, you bought it. You know, it was a different world, Lacey. One of my dear friends, who shall remain nameless thanks to you and your memes, because I'm going to tell you how it works. When I started comedy, I would say anything, and I would say first and last names, whatever. But the world we live in now, people live tweet, they record, it's on the internet. I could say anything. It was like a private garage party every time I went on stage. Now I say stuff, people repeat it, and my mom will call me and go like, Mija, this is not to go in your act. And I'm thinking, talk slower, I'm taking notes, you know what I mean? And I did a bit about my friend Tina Malavez's vagina right here in this room. And somebody called her and said like, oh, Monique, and by the time I was to my car, she was angry at me. So this joke is not about my friend Tina. So I have a friend who got married for the first time at 38 years old. Yeah, she's only been married once, but her book was tore up. I've been her friend for 20 years, Lacey. She made me the maid of honor at her wedding. Why? Because I knew that she had no back cover on her book, okay? Because I was with her in Vegas when she lost it. I'm pretty sure that's how she decided to get married. She's like, yeah, I'm 37. I got no back cover. I might as well get married, you know? It's a different world, and there's a part of me that's a little bit jealous of the freedom that young women have now. You can do anything, Lacey. You can do anything. When I was a little bitty girl, you had like some things. If you were a doctor or a lawyer, that was like big time. Mostly you're like a nurse or a teacher. You can do anything, but you can't do everything. And that's where young women get hung up and crazy because they think they can do everything. And you can't. You got to focus. You got to focus, you know, because you'll make yourself nuts, you know. And to be honest, I have found in my half century on the planet that women can only focus on about 4 things. 4 things. Pick 4 things. And don't get upset that think only 4. Men can only focus on 2, and that's if you count tits as 1. So the thing is that you learn things. You learn and you experience and you enjoy life. And I really, really I'm the happiest girl in the world. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to what's next. You know, I've never been this person. I'm free and I'm single and my mom and I have a great relationship. I mean, and that's saying a lot because it's the mother-daughter thing. If you have a great relationship with your mom, that's wonderful. But let's be honest, a lot of women, you know, hang on, I'll get there. It's when you hear a man talk about his dad, he talks about his dad. Like, it doesn't matter if the guy's like pressing out car parts in Detroit. He goes, man, if I can be half the man my own man is, I've done something. And they say it with such pride. When a woman talks about her mother, it's like she has a werewolf curse and she just spotted a patch of hair. She's like, oh my God, I'm turning into my mother. I like you said, this is true. I know, none of these are jokes at all. I wish. But I mean, this is part of my life now where I'm free and I'm single. You know, I had a very long-term relationship with a much younger man. And I didn't pick him that way. I didn't. I really, really didn't. And I've tried everything, Lacey. I have tried Febreze. I've tried perfume, Summer's Eve. I've tried everything. Evidently, I'm emitting some desperate cougar smell that I don't even know about, that the only people that talk to me are like little dudes. Like I'll be like after a show, like, how old are you? They'll be like, and I can tell they're super young. And how old? I just cut to the chase. I don't care. And they're like, I'm 28. I'm like, are you kidding me? I have a sweater older than you, all right? Stop talking to me. It's an Adrian Vittadini. I took the shoulder pads out, but I wear that bitch, okay? It's beautiful. It has gold buttons. It's really nice. And I'm like, stop talking. And that's the difference between men and women. Like, I was dating a very nice guy, and we had a lot of things in common. But it just doesn't work, you know? And when I send out to the universe, like, the secret, I guess I forgot to say age appropriate in my affirmation. And that's such a chick thing, because dudes don't have age appropriate. Dudes have prison, no prison. But you know what I mean? But I'm gonna clue you in, guys. I've been saying this for 20 years. For women, sex is mental. If you want to get into our bed, you got to get into our head. You've got to talk nice. You've got to make us feel safe and important. That is, I'll get there. That's foreplay. If you make a woman feel safe and important. You don't even have to really be listening to her when she's talking. Just look in her face, and when her lips stop moving, go, uh-huh. Like that. That's all you have to do. No, really. We just want to know you're with us. We just want to know she's petting Eddie. See, honey, see, it's all true. It's not just me. It's true, Eddie. It's mental for us. And that's why age appropriate's difficult. Because I met this young man a few years back, and I said, where do you live? He said, I live on a sailboat in Marina Del Rey. Well, that's pretty sexy. I was like, yeah, that's adventuresome. That's cool. All right, little dude, you passed test 1. Cool. I said, wow, you live on a sailboat. That's like Sonny Crockett. And he was like, who the hell's Sonny Crockett? What? You've never heard of Miami Vice? What are you, an idiot? Miami Vice it's part of pop culture. That's Don Johnson in the 80s was so hot he couldn't even wear socks. He was so hot. He couldn't wear socks, Lacey. There was smoke coming off his ankles. He was so hot, Lacey. You've never heard of Miami Vice either, have you? Okay, no. Okay, Lacey, I'm going to jump in the Wayback Machine. All right, Lacey? Back in the day, when I was a little girl like you, Lacey, actually before that, in my late teens, early 20s, we actually had to watch TV on TV. It was craziness. There was no binge watching. You didn't know what was going to happen next week. You couldn't jump ahead or look it up on the internet machine. You had to sit on the couch. You had to have your tuchus on the Naugahyde. And I lived with my grandma, Josephine. And me and my grandma, Josephine, that's what Latinos do when we're heartbroken. We move back in with our family. And me and my grandma would watch Miami Vice. Nothing moved in Miami on Fridays between 9 and 10 o'clock. And we would be sitting there. And this is the innocent world that we lived in. This is the innocent world. The show was an amazing show. Sonny Crockett had a partner, Ricardo Tubbs. And Ricardo Tubbs never got the chick. He just didn't. Sonny did. It was the 80s. Until one time, 1985, April, about 9:47. Leslie, I remember it like it was yesterday. While Foreigner was singing, I want to know what love is. Remember that? Ricardo Tubbs rolled over and it made it past the censors. His whole big butt right there, bam, cracking all right there, bam. And I was sitting with my grandma, we're like, whoo. Can you imagine getting that excited over butt crack? We were stoked. My grandmother's like, Dios mío, we've been mooned. I'm like, Grandma, he's black. It was more like an eclipse, but that's the world we lived in. That was news. Like, you waited for the show to end so you could go in the kitchen and call your friend on the phone that was connected to the wall by a wire. It wasn't like you could just text her, did you just see Ricardo Tubbs' hot ass? You couldn't do that. We had to wait, you know? And I'm going to tell you a piece of trivia. If you did not see Ricardo Tubbs' ass in April of 1985, Lacey, you did. That's exactly right. It didn't make it to the summer reruns. I waited. Me and my grandma, we were reading the TV Guide to see when that episode was going to... That's a book that you used to have on your coffee table. I don't care. No, you do. You miss things. You miss things. I miss men. I miss deferred gratification. I miss deferred gratification. Do you know what that is, Lacey? Deferred gratification is, and she said yes. To her credit, she said yes. But for some of you in the back that aren't in the front row that are like, I don't know what the hell that is. That's a lot of syllables for a Wednesday. Deferred gratification is when you really, really want something and you just can't have it right away. You just can't. What's your name, pretty girl? Signy. That's very unusual, Signy. Signy, I know you know what deferred gratification is. Of course. You were like, are you kidding me? I've seen Patico right here. But here's the thing. We used to have layaway. Do you have any idea what layaway is, Lacey? No, I knew you wouldn't know that. That is where Chris is laughing because he was like, I remember when my mom would drag us to Kmart. But you would pick out some goofy outfit that you thought you were beautiful in. And you would walk to the back of the store and there was a window and there was a woman with a name like Madge, Joan. And you would give her your stuff and she'd put it in a box with your name on it with like a little ledger. And then you would babysit the bratty, just insufferable child down the street for like $2 an hour and all the food and booze you could handle. But that was just... And then you would go back and you would give her the money and you would eventually get the clothes out. And by then they were out of style usually, Lacey. But you were proud. Signy said it's true. It's all true, Signy, all of it. Yeah, but you were excited because you paid for it with your own money. See, in a world we live in now, if there's something you like, even just a song, you're walking past someplace, you hear a song you like, you take your phone out, you Shazam it, you hit 3 buttons, and you're like, oh yeah, that's Closer by the Chainsmokers. Got it, I'm in, I'm good, right? That's a song, Signy. And you're excited, When I was a little girl, Lacey, younger than you, if you had a song that you loved, here's how you went about getting it if you didn't have money, okay? Hang on. You would listen to FM radio. You'd be excited because your song was in heavy rotation, right? You were stoked. And you had a radio with a dial, and it didn't pick up signal in every room, so sometimes you'd have to have it like in the kitchen by a window, and you'd have it turned up pretty loud so you could hear your jam in the living room, and you were like one ear, and then the DJ would say like, coming up next, Salisbury Hill by Peter Gabriel. And you would be like, that's my jam. Yeah, okay, I'm with you. Be like, yeah. And you would be praying that he wouldn't talk over the ramp of the song, over the front part, that you'd get a clean record. And you would wait, you would hover. You would go in the room and you would grab your little recorder and you'd put it in front of the speaker, fingers crossed, praying, and you'd stand there. The commercial would end, clean break, you'd hear climbing up on, and you would die, bam, boom, and you would have to hit 2 buttons simultaneously, Lacey. You would have to hit the red record and the play at the same time to get a clean record. And it was like catching lightning in a bottle. You had your jam. And you'd rewind. My heart going boom, boom. You were so excited. Yeah, you were happy. And then you would do that 10 or 12 more times. And then if you came from a good family, like my girlfriend Claudia, you would go to Radio Shack and you would have the tape-to-tape recorder, right? Where you could make dubs for your friends. And we didn't have emoji, Signy. We had stickers and Sharpies and imaginations, Lacey. And you would make tapes for people you loved, and it meant so much because they know what you went through to put it together. Even if you were rich and had 45s, it still took time. I still have a box of mixtapes, and my favorite has Jungle Love by Steve Miller. And there's something very sentimental and exciting about having to wait for something and then getting it. There's something that really fills your soul. That's why I don't care that I haven't met my soulmate yet, you know? When I go to the gym for me, but there's a little part of me that says, if I meet him, I want to be in good enough shape to throw him down. Yeah, I do. I do. It's funny because when I shower, sometimes I grab my own butt to see what I'd feel like to someone. But here's the weird part. Like I'm the only person that does that. Everybody does that. And don't you hate it when somebody comes up and touches you on the back of the arm without warning? Like, don't touch me on a soft, unflexed piece. Don't. Yeah. Yeah, don't. Yeah. But the thing is, you'll never really know what you feel like to another person because you can't sneak up on you and grab a bad spot. You usually flex and grab a good spot, you know. But it doesn't. Here's the funny part. That's the beauty of being an older woman is that I realize men don't care. They don't really care if you're flexed or you're tight or you're perfect. They really don't. They just want you there, you know. And I used to read these magazines when I was a little girl. My mother would get Cosmo. I thought Helen Gurley Brown was the smartest woman on the planet. Every month, Cosmo magazine, how to get a man, what to do with him once you're done. You know what I mean? Like, I'm serious. Every month. The bedroom trick that drives him wild. You know the bedroom trick that drives him wild? Show up. I wish I would have known that when I was 25, 35, 45. I swear, I think the reason the little dudes hit on me is because they can see that I'm at ease in my own skin, which is so rare. Physical beauty is super rare. I used to play this little game like, how many IQ points would I give up to look like Charlize Theron? I would be a moron with a propeller hat if I could have that face. I used to think that when I was younger, I did. But the reality is that you can be beautiful and still be a hot mess. In fact, a lot of times, I live in Hollywood. I have the most beautiful little girls in my building, and they come up the old elevator to talk to me. I live at the top of this old building. And I sit in there in my peignoir sets. I've become evidently the Yoda of vagina. And these little girls will text me, you know, can I come up for tea? And I give them advice, you know, and they sit there and they ask me questions. And it's so interesting to me, Leslie, how the world has changed and changed and changed, and yet it's the same. It's the same. You know, boys and girls want to meet each other and like each other and fall in love. And, you know, and it's difficult. There's a lot of changes in the world. There's a lot of sexual fluidity. I'm expected to be invited to a wedding any day now where the invitation says she was the man, woman of his, her dreams. You know, bring your own marijuana brownies. Like, okay, you know, I'll come to your wedding. I don't judge. But the reality is people are people, you know? People want to meet and fall in love. And I said it earlier, if you're a little girl and you're on Tinder, get off. It's not a dating site. There's no happily ever afters. That's just a delivery system. That's all that is. That's just the man letting you know where to bring the puss. That's all it is. And I know that sounds grim, but some of you in the back, I can see your faces. You're like, really? Yeah. I remember meeting men the old-fashioned way at work while I was married. And, I mean, I had paperwork, Lacey. I was separated. I was getting divorced and everything. But, you know, it was different. You had social skills. You would meet somebody in a bar, and they would send you a drink, and they would give you the eye, and you would give them the eye. I don't even drink, you know, but still, you would take it, and they come talk to you. You had social skills. You weren't, like, texting. And you weren't just looking at pictures of their head, you know, their head, you know. Like, what if you meet a dude and his head looks normal and you show up and he's in princess pants? He's in, like, little jeggings. You know, what do you say? Like, I just saw your head. This is not working for me at all. This is not good. And it doesn't account for energy. Everything is energy. That's why even a synonym for the word money, legal tender, is currency. Currency, energy. There's some things that are more cash than cash. There's some things that are more money than money. when you meet somebody and it's like right on, you just know like, oh, this is gonna go good. And you know you lie to yourself sometimes, but you know when you meet that someone, when your emojis match on a crowded page. You know, but you just know. Like, I don't even know how long you guys have been together. I don't know if you're married. I don't know anything. All I know is that by your body language, you dig each other. Like, you really like each other. That makes me, it gives me hope. It gives me hope, Silver Fox. I look at a man like you in man pants with your silvery hair looking like a former astronaut, you know what I mean? Like, no, he does. He looks fancy. Like, he's got, like, plaid pubic hair, you know what I mean? Like, you probably live close by. You look very Hermosa. Like, when you have sex, you don't yell out, I'm coming, like, I have arrived. You know what I mean? Like, I like that. I like that. You guys have a real relationship. That's what I want going forward. I mean, me and the little dude, we had a good run. Eventually, my mom, she got hip to it. You know, my mom, my 70-something-year-old Hispanic Catholic mother who watches too much reality television, one day decided to let me know she was cool with it after all this time. She's like, Mija, I understand, I get it now. You guys are like friends with privileges. She thought she was being cool. To hear that coming out of her mouth, like, freaked me out. After 3 failed marriages trying to make her happy, and she finally says, I get it, I understand, do what you want. You know, there's no chance of me having an accidental pregnancy at this point. So she says, I don't care, do the math. So she says, you know, I understand. And in my heart, I felt bad because I thought, you haven't caught up with me yet. I wish that I had a friend with privileges, but that's the difference between men and women. If they're not age appropriate, everything was a history lesson. We didn't have a communion. We didn't have an interaction. He wasn't my friend with privileges. It was more like the hang and bang. You know, it was like Netflix, a breakfast burrito, and some wiener. You know, I mean, that was it. I mean, I'm not proud to say that. I'm really not proud to say sometimes I didn't even want the wiener. I just wanted the movie and the breakfast burrito. I was like, we just hang out and go to a diner, you know. But I look forward. I'm grateful. I look forward. That's the exciting part. Yes, there are some setbacks to being older, but I'm very excited about the future. I understand this world. Because I'm probably like the world's oldest millennial. You know, I've always been, I'm serious. I've always been a little different than other people. Like, I've always been green. I used to rinse out Ziploc bags. Like, back in the 80s, I would rinse. I'm serious. I've saved tin foil and, like, straighten it out. I do. I got that from my grandma. And I tell people, Latino people aren't green on purpose. We're green because of our lack of green. So we learn to recycle and make use of things. And I never ate, like, movie theater food. That was, like, now who would eat Jordan almonds? Nobody would eat that stuff full of corn syrup anyway. But back in the day, I didn't eat it because my grandma would make us stuff to take to the movies to sneak in. And we didn't just sneak it in. You know, it wasn't like we were sneaking in, like, popcorn of our own or potato chips. No, we were sneaking in, like, arroz con pollo. You know what I mean? Like, we were sneaking in savory food in margarine containers because Latino people don't buy Tupperware. That's for rich people. The trick at my grandma's house was finding out which tub actually had the fucking margarine, because we had. But it's a different world in many ways, but in many ways it's the same. It really is the same. People want to be in love, and people want to trust each other, and people want to have a relationship. And these little girls, they sit and they talk to me, and I say, you want a man to love you forever and ever? And they go, yes, Yoda. I say, don't talk to him. And they look at me, and I go, that's what your girlfriends and gay men are for. Men and women communicate differently. Women are drunk drivers on the information highway. We don't have to have a destination. We weave all over the place. We don't make sense. Men are task-oriented. When a man speaks to a woman, he wants to know something happened. There was a beginning, a middle, an end. My work here is done. She has information. The mission will be completed, you know? It's a very interesting thing. You know, when a man wants to talk to you, you'll know. I love this guy. You're looking at me like, write a book. I like that. When a man wants to talk to you, you'll know, because he'll stand kind of close, like he's getting ready to engage. He'll look a little constipated, be like, and then he'll give you information. I tell girls, when a man calls you on the phone, he doesn't really want to talk to you. It's because men have a thing in their head, a list, and it's a short list because they can't remember anything. They have a list, things I got to do to get laid, and one of them is the check-in call. They really love when they call you and you don't answer, because then they get the point, but they don't actually have to talk to you. Or you're like hysterical from this. Eddie's like, oh my God, she's a mind reader. That's a great laugh, ma'am. Thank you for that. No, but it's true. I tell women, I say men are hunters, and that hasn't changed. In 2018, if you want a man to be a man, understand that he is a hunter. Make him chase you. You want a man to adore you? Hide from his ass. Don't turn your phone into an electronic tracking device. When a man calls you on the phone, take advantage of that situation. Make him wonder what you're up to. Be vague, be brief, hang up quickly. I'm serious. Act like the FBI has tapped your line and you're dealing blow. He's like, how are you? I'll tell you when I see you. Don't worry about it. I gotta go. He'll come home with a steel blue boner a cat can't scratch. Where's Anna? Where's she hiding from me? Men are hunters. Hide from him. Make him wonder what you're up to. The girls don't know that. Don't be obvious. Be a girl. Have a little mystery. I tell girls, even in the sexual arena, don't unfurl all of your secrets the first time you go in the sack with them. Act stupid like you never saw one before. And I'm going to tell the guys, women are not visually stimulated. If you're a young man, do not send people dick pics. Nobody wants to see that. I am a totally straight female. I am super straight. I am straighter than Yoko Ono's pubic hair. But when you're a stand-up comedian, you're a little forceful. People wonder, do you swing out of both trees and get caught in a bush now and then? Or no, I am not sexually fluid. No, hardened concrete. I like the boys, And I tell them that because I've been hit on by chicks, They're like, oh, how do you know you've never... My friend Scott witnessed it, How do you know you've never tried... I know, I like men. Well, I can do anything a man can do. No, you can't. Oh, yeah, I got toys, I got Star Wars remote, I got drone dildos, whatever. A man is a man. Like the belly, the chest hair, the smell, the bunnies. You know what I mean when I say the bunnies, the huevos, the conejitos, you know what I mean? Like, you can't simulate the smack of the bunnies. What are you gonna do, put a bunch of wet cotton balls in a tube sock? You're killing me, Pam, you're killing me. No. I went too far with that, I'm sorry, Leslie. You're like, smack of the bunnies, what is the matter with you? What I'm saying is that I like men. I'm not judging anybody, but I am a little old school. I understand that sexuality is on a continuum, and we're lucky the most vast majority of us know what end we're on. You're gay or you're straight, I don't believe anybody's 50-50 right down the middle. I don't. I really don't. When people say, I'm bi, I'm like, you're just greedy and lazy. Pick a team and play hard. Because you're hurting people, you know what I mean? When you just kind of keep going over the dividing line, you hurt people on both sides is all I'm saying. But it... Lacey's looking around like, stop talking to me. It's okay. It's okay. No, but the thing is that you know what you like and you know what you want. And I'm looking forward. I'm excited. I know what I want now, and I'm comfortable in my own skin, and I feel like I'm going to meet somebody, and he's going to appreciate that I am self-confident and happy. I'm not all nervous. Like, you're a pretty little girl, and there's a pretty good chance if, when you and Chris were first together, I don't mean to make assumptions, but I think you've known each other in a carnal way, knowing how the world works now. And but I talk to these little girls when they come up my elevator, And we talk about sex, and I'm shocked at how repressed, how open they are in some ways, and then they're like, "Oh, I don't like that. That's a weird position. Don't sniff me there." I go, "You want a man to love you? Be self-confident. You just stand in the living room, buck ass naked, and just go like, yeah, let's do this. Do me any way you want, and when you're done, squeegee me and bring me a jelly donut. How about that?" Or what? Or a taco? Okay, that's your preference. All right. I see. Taco night's going to take on a whole new meaning for Eddie. This is a great audience. It's like, I'm starting to feel like those old garage days again, and nobody has their phone out, so we're safe. Let's talk. But no, it's funny because when you're talking about, the differences, women aren't visually stimulated. So I'm going to tell you right now, in case my future ex-boyfriend is in the room. No, I've only gotten one dick pic, and it was on Christmas, which was really gross. I think he was trying to let me know, like, oh, this is what's going to fill your stocking. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. I mean, I speak millennial. I do. I sent the appropriate emojis, like Santa Claus hat, lips. I sent like all the good XX, and then I get boom, wiener. Like, what? I tell young guys, because they ask me advice too. I go, this is the relationship that you want a woman to have with your penis is the same one that Sigourney Weaver had with the alien in 1979, which is you have to think of romance as a movie, and you wouldn't open the movie with the monster. You don't do that. You want the woman to simultaneously hunt and fear the monster. You know what I mean? You want her to be looking for it. And the first time she sees your monster, you want her to be in awe. You're like, oh, like that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want it a little tiny on her phone. You want to be standing on a leather hassock with one candle with like a shadow puppet. You know what I mean? Like, jump down. It's huge, but I can control it. Don't worry. You guys are really wonderful. It's come to a close here. It's come to, yeah, I know. But I'll be back. But I'm gonna finish. Yes, I promise. You've been amazing. I'm gonna close with my 3 best pieces of advice. I close every show this way because it's important. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. You can say it.
Love hard, forgive harder, and get as happy as you can as fast as you can.
Wow. I am so moved that you knew that. Wow. Wow. Love hard, forgive harder, and get as happy as you can as fast as you can. Thank you. Good night. God bless you.